In the early hours of February 28, 2026, the world changed forever. A man who ruled 85 million people with an iron fist for 37 years was eliminated in a single night. The supreme leader of Iran, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, is dead, killed by a joint US-Israeli strike so precise, so devastating, that even Iran's own state television went silent. This is not a movie. This is not a simulation. This happened yesterday. And what comes next could reshape the entire world as we know it. February 28, 2026, a Saturday morning in Tehran. For most Iranians, it began like any other day. Then the skies opened up. In what the Pentagon codenamed Operation Epic Fury and Israel called Operation Roaring Lion, a massive coordinated wave of American and Israeli fighter jets, drones, and precision missiles descended on 24 Iranian provinces simultaneously. This was not a warning shot. This was not a limited strike on nuclear facilities like we saw back in June of 2025. This was something history had never seen before, a full-scale decapitation operation targeting the very heart of the Islamic Republic. The primary target, the heavily fortified compound of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, Iran's supreme leader since 1989, a man who had survived assassinations, revolutions, wars, and decades of international pressure. A man who believed no enemy could reach him. They reached him. Within hours, the compound was rubble. Here's where it gets extraordinary. The Iranian government didn't break the news to the world. Donald Trump did.
Leadership, with President Trump now saying Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei is dead. Iran has not confirmed that.
At 2:30 a.m. Eastern Time, the U.S. President posted an 8-minute video to Truth Social. His words were blunt and unfiltered. He called Khamenei, and I'm quoting directly, one of the most evil people in history, and confirmed his death.
When we are finished, take over your government. It will be yours to take.
He said their highly sophisticated intelligence and tracking systems made it impossible for Khamenei to hide, and declared this the Iranian people's greatest opportunity to reclaim their country. Iranian state television, meanwhile, was visibly in shock, cutting in and out, anchors looking confused and shaken. It took several hours for Tehran to confirm what the whole world already knew officially. The Supreme National Security Council and Iranian state media finally announced the death of the man who had led their country for 37 years as its highest spiritual, political, and military authority. The government immediately declared 40 days of national mourning. But Khamenei was not the only one killed that night. Family members inside the compound, including a daughter, a son-in-law, and a granddaughter, also perished, and alongside them senior commanders of the Revolutionary Guards, including General Mohammad Pakpour, head of the IRGC ground forces. According to CBS News, intelligence sources estimate 40 or more Iranian officials were killed in the operation. The most painful headline of all, a strike that hit an elementary school in Minab, in southeastern Iran near a military base, killing over 100 children. Iran's UN ambassador called it a war crime and a crime against humanity. Iran did not mourn in silence. Within hours of the strike's beginning, the Islamic Revolutionary Guards Corps activated what they described as the most intense offensive operation in the history of Iran's armed forces. Ballistic missiles rained down on Israeli territory. One broke through Israel's defense grid, striking a building in Tel Aviv, killing at least one person and wounding more, leaving the structure partially collapsed and in flames. Simultaneously, another missile struck the Israeli town of Beit Shemesh, killing at least 9. But Iran didn't stop at Israel. The UAE was hit with 137 missiles and 209 drones. The Abu Dhabi government says it intercepted most of them, but in Dubai, fires were reported near iconic hotels. Iran also launched strikes on Qatar, Kuwait, Bahrain, and Saudi Arabia, targeting U.S. military infrastructure across the Gulf. In Kuwait, Iranian attacks killed 1 person and injured 32. In the UAE, 3 were killed and 58 injured. In Baghdad, a grieving crowd stormed the gates of the American embassy in the Green Zone, clashing with Iraqi security forces. The Strait of Hormuz, one of the world's most critical oil shipping lanes, is now effectively blocked. 150 cargo ships, many of them oil tankers, are currently stalled behind the strait. Inside Iran itself, the reaction has been one of the most fascinating and heartbreaking splits in modern political history. In Mashhad, Khamenei's hometown, thousands of supporters gathered in tears around the Imam Reza shrine, waving black flags and portraits of the supreme leader, mourning the man they considered a holy figure.
Now comes the most dangerous question of all. Who runs Iran now? Since 1989, Khamenei had consolidated near absolute authority over every branch of the Iranian state: the military, the judiciary, the media, the economy. His disappearance doesn't just remove a leader, it removes the entire load-bearing wall of the Islamic Republic's structure. According to Iran's constitution, it falls to the Assembly of Experts, a council of 88 senior clerics, to elect a new supreme leader. In the meantime, a transitional council has been formed, led by President Masoud Pezeshkian and top security official Ali Larijani, who has reportedly already been elevated to manage the crisis, a plan Khamenei himself had reportedly put in place years ago. But many analysts fear that constitutional procedures won't survive the chaos. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, the IRGC, controls not just Iran's military, but enormous portions of its economy, its intelligence apparatus, and its political machinery. The question is what comes next? The world woke up Sunday morning fundamentally changed. Russian President Vladimir Putin called the killing of Khamenei a cynical murder. The European Union called for maximum restraint and full respect of international law. An emergency UN security session was convened, where Iran's ambassador accused the US and Israel of war crimes. Meanwhile, Trump told CNBC that military operations are ahead of schedule and signaled that strikes on Iran's nuclear infrastructure would continue uninterrupted throughout the week, or as long as necessary until peace is secured. He added that he already knows who is running Iran now, but declined to elaborate. What is certain is this: the architecture of the Middle East that defined the last 4 decades officially collapsed on February 28, 2026. The Islamic Republic built its entire identity around resistance to America and Israel. Its supreme leader, the symbol of that resistance for 37 years, was killed by both of them on the same night. What rises from the ashes of that compound in Tehran will define the next chapter of history. If you want to stay ahead of this story as it develops, subscribe, because this is only the beginning.